So if you're new around here, you're a visitor, hey, this is just bonus for you. Glad I got you caught. It'll probably be about 7.5 minutes, so we'll end up pretty much on time. I want to give you an update just on a few things, and then every quarter we like to also give a financial update to you. We like to do this at the end of service so you get to hear it. We like to do it at the end of service because we don't like to we like our worship to be very vertical, and then at the end we can say hey, let's talk about some family matters. And so that's why we do this quarterly basis, is it's not just my church or the board's church or staff church, it's our church is how this works. Now what we keep saying, our heartbeat, is our heartbeat. Right? The thing I already said, we're more broke than originally thought, but more loved by God than we dare to dream. Now, I can get tired about a lot in church. I've been around church. I've been working in churches 18 years. I've been in churches after. I mean, you put a bunch of people together in communal life, and guess what happens? Some really beautiful things, but some complications happen also. And so, as a leader in this setting, there's a lot I can get tired of. And a lot of that has to do with my limitations and my issues. I get that. You know what I never get tired of? I don't ever get tired of saying that. That sentence. Like that we're more broken than originally thought, but more loved by God than we dare to dream. I never get tired of our heart, of our heartbeat. I never get tired of that. I love being in a place where that's what we're about. That's what we're about in here, and also just right over there. Up to 100 kids on a Sunday, up to 200 kids rotate through, and we're providing for them. So what we like to say is we want to be a place of rest, growth, and worship. Just want to remind us, we want to be a place where community is formed, spiritual depth is pursued, a place where individuals, families, and marriages heal, a place where children and students are rooted in Jesus alone, a place that multiplies ministry to other places. So God's been very faithful to us in 10 years of us existing. And in August, we're going to add a second worship service so we don't have to be over in the overflow room. Thank you for being in the overflow room. You're still, I know, we know you're there. Thank you. And so that we can continue to grow, first off, in our astonishment of God's love. The heartbeat doesn't change when we make these, changes along the way, to continue to increase our welcome for new people, for you. I showed up at some point, you showed up at some point, and we want to continue to increase our welcome to the next person and the next family. So in March, we covered how we're going to 2 services in August, and so our hope, our goal, what we want to do and build toward is 2 identical worship services with full children's ministry and kids ministry at both. That's our goal, so that the 9 a.m. and the 11 a.m., there's not one that's lesser than the other. It's our goal, so that people can choose and have full service to families at both. That's our goal. Now, to get there, we do have some needs. So I just want to mention these to you. In August, for us to do this, we have some needs in children's ministry. We need 50 more volunteers. That's a lot. Well, there's a lot of us. So it's possible. It's possible. We need 33 people in nursery. If you go, well, I could be in a nursery. I can hold a baby. You see how I did that this morning? That was an example. Just an example. 13 in our preschool. We need 4 in elementary. The rotation to serve, this is my pitch, right? It's once every 6 weeks. And you only serve one service. You don't serve both. You serve one, and you can still go to church the other one. So once every 6 weeks, one time, you can still go to church the other time. So our bet here, what we've been betting on for 10 years, is to ask less of our children's ministry volunteers, but we need more volunteers. Right? The other way to reverse it, and maybe even in churches, you ask more, but you get less people. But so we're betting that by asking less of you, more of you go I could do that. I can bite that off. I can go for that. So Annie would love to talk to you in the lobby afterward. You can email us. We'll get you trained, background check. Nobody's getting in a classroom without getting trained in background check, because their safety is first. But if you're thinking, I could do that, well, let's step toward that. All right, tomorrow we are buying more property. So that wall right there, on the other side of it is that green space. So we're buying that unit tomorrow, that space right there. So that's the big square. It has that little add-on little square there. And that's about, I'm going off memory, 3,600 square feet. And then that rectangle on top, that's another unit that backs up to it that we're also buying. And it faces the other parking lot, the back parking lot, with doors out that way. That's about 1,850 square feet, something like that. And so we're buying that tomorrow. We're buying it for $750,000. It opens to the courtyard. It will give us the ability for future sanctuary space when we need it. We can just wall it off. This room was walled off for years, if you've been around, because that's what we're going to do there. Just wall it off, let it sit there and be ready for us when we're ready for it. And then as well, immediately, we have need for small groups for adults and a need for student small groups on Sunday evenings. Now, to buy this, we're putting 15% down payment down. We already have that money. We've saved that money because of your giving. We're putting that down, and then we're going to get a line of credit for the rest, just to kind of get it bought, get it under our ownership, and then we're going to do some fundraising. We're not going to put a thermometer in the back, but we are going to do some fundraising. Maybe I'll do a thermometer now. We'll just keep it at 0, just, But we are going to do some fundraising. That back unit is leased until July 1st, so we don't even think about that till July 1st. This one next door, as of tomorrow afternoon, it's ours. It's a little rough, but we can start to use it immediately while we get our acts together of what could this space be like? How can we best use this space? Because it's going to need a renovation for that to happen. So we formed a vision and gratitude team to lead us in this, because for me, I don't want us just to functionally do this. This needs to be done out of the right heartbeat. This needs to be done out of a heartbeat of gratitude. It needs to be a heartbeat out of vision for the future, and not just the functions of design, raise money, pay it. So these are the people on this gratitude and vision team. They're going to join together a few times and just pray and be together and be grateful to God for what we already have, grateful that this opportunity is before us. Ashley Donald, Matt Hooper, Cameron Clark, Leanne Rapp, Brian Sims, Megan Forrester, and Christopher Broxma all agreed to be on that. And if I added your name in there and you didn't say yes, apparently you're on it now. We're excited. We're gonna lead us in gratitude. We're not just going to go into fundraising and put more and more demand on us. We want to lead in gratitude and heartbeat. And out of that will come, what is God calling us individually to how to participate? We are where we're at in 10 years because of participation of givers. So it's the only way this place works is, we're not sending out invoices. You didn't pay to get in the door. It's the only way any of this ministry works. And so maybe even now you just begin to pray about that. We'll have some vision nights in August and talk very concretely about it. But even between now and then, some of us are going to give a little. Some of us can give a little. Some of us can give more. There's some of us who can give a lot. There just are. There's some of us who can just flat out write a big check. And you know what we need? We actually need all that. We need the really big checks, and we need the whole bunch of littles. We need all of that participation for us to move ahead once again. I feel like about every 3-4 years, we've had to do one of these. And so that's where we're headed. Worship will still be worship. It's going to be gratitude. It's going to be vision. It's going to be heart. But we're excited what God is doing with this opportunity for us, just like when we bought this building 7 years ago. And this building felt huge to us then. It was we'll never need more property. We're we could have a huge indoor playground. The things we talked about, no, actually, no. Don't have room for it. And so that's ahead of us. Also working with the HOA to renovate the courtyard to get that usable, functional space for kids to run around, us to use it in different ways. So that's an HOA project. So the good thing about that is we don't have to pay for all of it. Bad thing about that, it's not our timetable. But that's out there for us as well. We'll be using that more as the spaces are going to be connected. All right, Steve Kirshner, our treasurer, will come out and give a 3-minute summary of finances to get you up to date for this quarter, and then I'll just dismiss us.
Okay. What you see on the screen is a basic income statement. It has the main 3 components: income, expenses, and profit. Okay? An income statement is a picture of performance over a period of time. The period of time here is from October 1st of last year through March 23rd of this year. The church is on a fiscal year end of September 30th. So this is a 6-month income statement. Of the 3 components there, the total income, this is the performance, and I know we're not supposed to use performance. This is the results of what the congregation has contributed in the last 6 months. How that compares to the prior year, because I think that's important. The prior year, we are $104,000 ahead in tithes and offerings from the prior 6 months. From the comparable period, the prior 6 months. That's a 29% increase year over year from one year to the next. So after the tithe and offerings, you go to expenses. The elders, we have a responsibility to be good stewards of what you've contributed. The expenses during the year, you can see there, have been $504,000. That's for salaries, that's for operations, and that's for missions, which this church makes a very good commitment to missions. The final thing is the income. What you contributed, less what we have used as stewards, is what's left, and that's $84,000 above what we've spent so far this year. Now, we try to project this forward as best we can, taking the 6 months from the previous year, using that as far as collections, adding it to what you've contributed so far the first 6 months. At the end of the year, we will have a balanced budget. We're not projecting an $84,000 excess. We're projecting a balanced budget. So that could be better. We're hoping it's better, but we are, of course, stewards of whatever comes in. Okay? Let's go to the next slide, the missions. Do we have a slide for missions? We may not have a slide for missions. So, let me tell you, overall, there is 3, 6, 9, 11 different missions we give to. Some of them, the contribution ranges for the last quarter, the last 3 months of the year, anywhere between $4,300 for some organizations, down to $250 for others. The big number to remember is the total contributed in the last 3 months of this year was $32,000. The church gives 10% of what your tithes and offerings are to missions to outreach to the rest of the community. Okay? If you have any questions, I've got an expanded version of what I just went over. I will be sitting over here. I will stay no longer than 5 minutes, no less. So you got 5 minutes to come over. One of these is available to you. And if you have any questions, I'm available. And also, you can get my email address or my cell number from Annie and call me at any time. Thanks.
Thank you, Steve. Yeah, I'll be up front as well for any additional questions. Thanks for staying a few minutes late. Appreciate it. I know that could have been a problem for your schedule, so thank you very much. Go in the grace of Jesus. You're forgiven and free. Have a great week. Go in peace.